Hey, I am going broke, and my family is selling our car and our old apartment so that I can continue to study in this goddamn place. What's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite albums. And today I'm going to be doing an album review on the new Friko album, Where We've Been, Where We Go From Here. So, hailing from Illinois, this is the debut album of an exciting indie rock band. This band actually, prior to being Friko, they were a band in a different name, but they never really broke out of the scene and topped the radio music charts until they became Friko, which is pretty much a three-person act. And this is definitely a surprise because A, I love indie rock music. B, this is some of the most explosive, colorful, and passionate indie rock music I've heard in quite some time. And obviously, given that this is a relatively new band and, this is their debut album, obviously they wear their influences on their sleeves quite a bit, and obviously there are some moments on the track list where there are imperfections, room for improvement. However, I really like the anxiety-filled trembling vocals a la BCNR, and the album also occasionally has the melancholy of a Bright Eyes album, which makes this kind of raw and emotional, and I've always enjoyed indie rock music that allows itself to be raw and emotional. So the album opener is a humble and quiet beginning that sort of builds up to an explosive finish. We have nostalgic chord progressions in the guitars, which is one of my biggest weaknesses because whenever I hear a nostalgic chord progression, my ears just melt. And it gets really noisy and chaotic and crushed and compressed at the end. I also like the lyrical themes of passage of time, moving on from job to job, life that's running past through him, the vocalist, who is doing a very great job on the opening track. Also, amazing vocals on the second track, Crimson to Chrome, which is very much a song about aging and losing time. The track alternates between loud and quiet moments, where during the loud moments we have rough vocal layers that sort of explode with emotions. It's just these emotional bursts that sort of make this track so captivating for me. Then we have Crashing Through, which is another really good track. This is a quick and snappy rock tune where, to me, it sounds like Elliot,
Smith.
but a bit more mentally healthy and a little bit more rock oriented. The guitars near the end go absolutely haywire and turn into chaotic noise, which is cool, even though they have literally pulled the same thing two times on the last two songs already. Then we have a bit of a detour with track 4 Ella, which is, as expected, a lovesick slow burn with elegant, lush pianos and cinematic swelling strings. Throughout the entire track, you can just tell that the vocalist of this song just feels hopelessly in love on this track, describing Ella and how she moves and her beauty and all that stuff. And there are definitely moments where when I'm listening to the track where I'm like, man, I feel like maybe he's trying a little bit too hard to come off cinematic. But I mean, who wouldn't go all out cinematic for their loved ones? So I don't really mind that at all. And that is contrasted with the exhilarating rock jam that is the next track, Chemical, with its My Bloody Valentine inspired melodies. But what I really like is the sort of the hook of the track with the frantic shout, Chemical, 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 Chemical. My hair. Yes, it's really fun. It's a really fun track. That is followed with Statues, which is a more mid-paced track with wintry drums, the constant 4/4 time signature drumming, and the icy distant vocals. Kinda reminds me of Beach House. Again, this track is littered with influences and derivative moments, but they do not necessarily drag the drag the music down because I like all the influences on the album, but this track does come out very beach housey for me. Then we have Until I'm With You, which is easily the weakest track here. It is a piano ballad where the pianos and the vocal melodies get really, really repetitive, so it just feels way too long for its own good. Get Numb to It! Exclamation mark has all the features of an indie rock banger. Nostalgic chord progressions, jangly guitars, the pre-choruses. I really love the pre-chorus where the vocals sort of go off the rails and go off the beat just a little bit in order to create this raw liveliness. I really love that little touch. And lyrically, it is somewhere between a love song and a nervous attack. Finally, the album ends off with the track Cardinal, which is a quiet ballad ending, which at this point is a little bit cliche, but that allows for some nice vocal moments and strings, albeit the vocals on this track could have been way better. Lyrically, it deals with guilt and people drifting away, and I like these lyrical topics. And again, I love myself a sad, emotional indie rock album. But overall, it is a very promising album, and the first leg of the album is absolutely fantastic. I love how young and raw the music on this album sounds, and honestly, it is still some of the most passionate and colorful indie rock I've heard in quite some time. And I recommend this album a lot. I'm giving this album a light 8 out of 10. So, have you listened to the new Friko album? Comments below, let me know, subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. Yeah!